What's it like using the smallest blades in the world? This year, Rick Shields put a video out saying that the irons that I am using are the smallest blades in the world. And I'm going to say the smallest blades of 2021. What are they like to use? Well, I thought it was about time that I gave you an update. I've now played quite a few rounds of these clubs, and I think it's important that you know how they are to play with. They look mighty fine, but how do they play? Thank you so much for stopping by this Monday. I hope you've had a great weekend. If you played golf, let's get in those comments down below where you played, and hopefully you've seen some low scores. Coming up today is going to be a full lowdown on how far I am hitting these clubs. Are they going shorter, or are they going longer than my predecessors, my Forge Tech one length irons? Let's see what you think. Straight away, do you think that these Rickie Fowler blades, butter knives, carving knives, the thinnest things in the world, are going longer or shorter than my predecessors? Let's go. So, it's going to come with no surprise that these irons are, well, not very forgiving. So let's start with 4-iron. So when you usually grab a 4-iron, none of us really do have that confidence right away, do we? If we're being perfectly honest. But when you put this 4-iron down behind the ball, wowzers, it looks extremely thin. Now I have to say, when I got fitted for these, I was probably swinging at my best. It was warm, I was in a t-shirt, I felt good about the swing. We all know that doesn't last. So when you address the golf ball, I mean, this thing looks seriously thin, but I want to hit this one away and get into how far these are going. Cold morning for one of those. Now, I have to say, one of the things that I have found incredibly hard is getting used to how far these balls are going. Now, the off-centre hits, they don't go very far at all. That's one thing that I really have to say. I've never missed so many greens short. Now, that is not the irons. That is due to me and how good the player is. Okay, without further ado, let's talk through my yardages. You know when you really catch one thin, you can feel it on your fingers, and that is also a sorry state because that means it's winter. Winter golf. The distances, how far are my clubs going? Now, one thing that I really have enjoyed is using Arcos. Nobody's heard of this. This is actually a device that you can buy separate to Cobra, but they actually come fitted in my Cobra irons. And this has given me overall distances of how far each and every one of my golf clubs can go. So on the side of the screen here, I'm going to put up my yardages. So you can see driver 262, 5-wood 228, 3-iron 221. But I want to get into this section of 4-iron through to pitching wedge because these are where I'm gaming the Rickie Fowler irons. The smallest blades in the world. Now let's look at this. So bear in mind that now I've played 6 rounds with this. And using my last 100 shots, this is how far they are going. Let's start with 4-iron, 186. 5-iron, 193, a little bit longer. Now, the only thing that I can think about there is I may have had some downwind shots, or actually I found the middle of the club on the 5-iron and not really found the middle on the 4-iron. Both things are very plausible. Into 6-iron, 178, 7-iron, 159, 8-iron, 136, 9-iron, 128, and pitching wedge, only 103. So if I think about it this way, these are my yardages, there's no lying about this, like you can see them here, and this is how far they're going, and I'm saying there's no lying to you, but I think I was probably lying to myself when I first got these clubs and how far I was going to hit them. Let me put this in reality for you. My old irons, so my Forge Tech 1-length irons, they went with 7-iron. I could hit my 7-iron anywhere from 175 to 185. Okay, a lot longer than 159. Let's say 15 yards. 15 yards difference. My pitching wedge, I could hit anywhere up to sort of 140 on the right conditions. Now, I have to bear in mind there that my pitching wedge in that case was a 7-iron length, so that could have contributed to that. But then if I take my 4-iron on my 1-length set was going around 200 yards. Again, 15 yards roughly short of where it is right now. So I honestly think, and this is the thing that I have found the hardest, is that these clubs are going around 15 to 20 yards shorter than, on average, maybe on the good hits similar sometimes, but on average than my Forge Tech irons. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper into this, and I wanted to delve into the reasons why this was happening. I'm going to have to go 7-iron here. It's cold, it's a little bit into the wind. 156, 158 is my 7-iron distance, but I really think it's probably playing something similar, maybe 155 today with this cold wind. So it's going to have to be 7-iron. I'm going to place, it's winter, placing on fairways. Okay, so let's just delve into these irons a little bit more. So the first thing when you place that club down behind the ball, and this strikes you, is how thin that top edge of the golf club is. Okay, this top edge here is extremely thin compared to a muscleback, a more game improvement iron, or even something like a Forge Tech like I was using last year. That was easily double the width at the top. You've also got to think about here on the back of the golf club, there is no real weight behind it. There's no real weight distribution towards the toe or the heel, again making this club a little bit more forgiving. It's essentially just a forged piece of metal. So very, very striking is the fact that the top edge is mightily thin and there's not a lot of weight distribution there with it bulking out at the back and either side of the club. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. Okay, so this is perfect little club for this. Oh, be the club. Be the club. So, I just want to explain a bit of an answer for you, because I've delved into this, and why these clubs are just going, well, 15 yards shorter. I just want to say one thing, it's not all doom and gloom. The one benefit I have found with this is I am getting far less shots that go ridiculous distances and I just can't explain it. I used to have that a fair bit with my last irons and hit some shots where I was like, wowzers, I didn't expect it to go that far. So once I get adjusted to these, I think I can play some pretty good golf when I'm playing good golf. Maybe not in the winter when it's about 5 degrees. So delving into this a little deeper, I had to go on the internet for this. I had to do a little bit of research to find this out. I wanted to find the reason why these were going so much shorter and sort of hoping it wasn't just me striking the golf ball ridiculously bad. It wasn't. I mean, it does have something to do with it, but, so what I did was I had a look at what my lofts used to be on my Forge Tech and what are the lofts of my irons right now. So if you're a golfer out there, which you probably bought a new set of irons recently, or you have in the last year, or you're maybe thinking about buying a new set of irons, have a look at what lofts you're currently using and what lofts the irons that you've just bought or the irons that you're thinking about buying are. Because this may be a big difference in you losing yards or actually adding yards. So let's just run through the lofts. My old 4-iron Forge Tech loft was 21 degrees. Quite strong. Now it is 24. Just to put that in perspective, I see some 6-iron, 7-irons now around that sort of 26, 27 mark degrees of loft. So how much bend back of that face is from the leading edge, okay? What degree of angle that club head has. My 7-iron used to be 29.5, it is now 34. And finally, if I just use my 9-iron here, it used to be 39, it's now 42. I mean, that's 5.5 degrees difference on my 7-iron and sort of 3 degrees difference on the rest. That is mad, right? That is mad. So it again explains why I'm seeing the golf ball go a lot higher and not travel as far, especially in, well, in all my irons. That is one thing that I'm not seeing it go anywhere near as far on average in all my irons. But as I said, this is something that I have got to get used to as a golf pro, something I've got to get used to just as a golfer, and I'm enjoying the challenge. I am not out here to berate these irons, I am absolutely loving them. I love the look of them, they look great when I get them out of the bag, I put them down behind the ball. It does scare me, but it excites me. These irons I'm really excited about using for the rest of this season into next season. So I hope that gave you a little bit of an insight to what these irons are like to use. They're hard and they don't go as far, but I love them. That would be the great summary of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I love the fact that you stuck around to the end, and if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and join this team. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, because coming up tomorrow, we've got some golf instruction that I know is going to help you strike the golf ball better. See you tomorrow.